Ladies and gentlemen, saints and seekers, I ask you now, dare you walk alone, not in pride, not in rebellion, but in purpose? And there is a calling over your life so sacred, so holy, that not everyone around you will understand. And that's all right. You see, there comes a time when the crowd begins to feel like noise, and even your closest companions cannot hear the frequency God is tuning your soul to. That's when He beckons you. Come away, my beloved, just you and me. And in that divine solitude, He begins the great unveiling, the unveiling of your identity, the sharpening of your voice, the stirring of the very reason you were created. Oh, it's lonely. It's weeping in the quiet places. It's aching for a connection that goes deeper than casual conversation and shallow praise. But listen to me. There is glory in the waiting. There is anointing in the isolation. And there is destiny in the desert. You were not meant to blend in. You were born to stand apart until your tribe can recognize you. And they will recognize you not by your clothes, not by your name, but by the fire in your eyes. The same fire that burns in theirs. Keep walking, even when the path is narrow, even when your voice trembles, even when you feel forgotten, because the tribe that is yours, they will find you dancing in your authenticity, not begging for acceptance in a masquerade. And when they come, when they come, you'll know it was worth every tear, every silent night, every unanswered question. Walk alone, precious one, until heaven whispers, now these are your people. This is your place. The power of solitude is not found in isolation for its own sake, but in the deep, holy work that happens when everything else falls silent, when the crowd fades away, when applause is no longer in earshot, when your phone is still and the room is quiet. What remains is you and God. In solitude, the soul stops performing and starts listening. There, away from distraction and comparison, truth begins to rise like incense. You start to hear the whisper you missed in the noise, the still, small voice that doesn't compete but waits to be sought. It is in this sacred quiet that clarity is born. Readiness is never formed in the crowd. It is shaped in the secret place. Solitude is where dreams are purified, motives are tested, and character is refined. It's where you wrestle with your own doubts and emerge with unshakable conviction. It's where you learn not to rely on applause or permission, because heaven's affirmation is already enough. In solitude, you don't become smaller, you become clearer. You don't get lost, you get found. You don't shrink, you sharpen. It's not the absence of company. It's the presence of God in the deepest, most intimate way. And sometimes that presence feels like fire. It burns away what you thought you needed, what was never meant to stay. The power of solitude is not loneliness. It is alignment, a divine recalibration, a stripping of everything that distracts from what's real, eternal, and essential. It is the womb of transformation, the silence before the song, the cave before the crown. And when you finally emerge after the tears, after the silence, after the ache, you will carry something sacred that no one can take from you. Because what was born in solitude was born in truth. There comes a moment in every life where a choice must be made, not between right and wrong, but between what is easy and what is true. Purpose rarely walks hand in hand with popularity. The call on your life may not fit the expectations others have for you, and that's by design. If you live for their cheers, you'll die by their silence. Purpose whispers in the quiet, long before the spotlight ever finds you. It doesn't demand attention. It demands obedience. The world may celebrate what is loud, what is trending, what is widely accepted, but purpose is patient. It's content being hidden until the time is right. It is forged in faithfulness, not fame. Popularity seeks applause. Purpose seeks impact. Popularity says, be what they want. Purpose says, be who you were created to be. And sometimes being true to that calling means walking away from rooms where you were once the favorite. It means being misunderstood, misjudged, even mocked, not because you failed, but because you refused to compromise. There is nothing wrong with being liked, but don't trade your destiny for it. Don't dilute your voice to make others comfortable. Don't bend your convictions for temporary validation. Purpose is not always loud, but it is always lasting. It may not fill a room, but it will fill a life with meaning. When you choose purpose over popularity, you may stand alone, but you'll stand strong. You may be overlooked, but you'll be chosen by the one who sees everything. And in time, the fruit of your obedience will speak louder than any approval you could have chased. The ones who change the world are not those who follow trends. They are the ones who follow truth, even when it costs them everything. Authenticity will cost you. It will cost you the comfort of fitting in, the ease of going along, and the safety of being what others expect. The moment you choose to live from a place of truth, you put everything shallow at risk. Every surface relationship, every false perception, every mask that made you more palatable to those who never really knew you. To be authentic is to show up without the armor, to speak without the script, to live without the filter. It's raw, it's real, and it's often lonely because when you stop pretending, not everyone claps. Some will question, some will leave, and some will try to put you back into the box you've outgrown. But there's something holy about that cost, because with every layer you shed, with every facade you lay down, You come closer to the version of yourself God actually designed. Not the image you maintained, but the identity you've been entrusted with. You trade acceptance for alignment, noise for depth, applause for peace. Authenticity will disrupt the familiar. It will threaten every environment that was comfortable because it was false. But it will also call in the right people, the ones who don't need you to shrink, perform, or pretend. The ones who recognize you because they've walked that same road of becoming. The price is high, but the freedom is higher. You may lose the crowd, but you'll find your voice. You may lose some company, but you'll find your tribe. And in the end, you'll have something the world can't give and can never take away: yourself, whole and unhidden. There are seasons when heaven seems silent, when doors don't open, when people drift away and plans unravel, and it feels like you've been forgotten. But you haven't. You're simply in a spiritual season of isolation, a divine pause where God isn't punishing you. He's preparing you. In these seasons, everything unnecessary is stripped away so that only what's eternal remains. It's in the wilderness that the noise quiets, the distractions fall off, and the soul becomes tender enough to hear instruction, correction, and direction. You are not being buried, you are being planted. What looks like an end is often the beginning of something deeper. Isolation is not always the absence of people, it's the presence of purpose. God calls his chosen ones away before he sends them out. David had his field, Moses had his desert, Jesus had his wilderness. It is in these private places that identity is solidified, faith is stretched, and obedience is tested. You learn to lean not on the crowd, not on recognition, but on the voice that still speaks in the silence. It hurts, the waiting is long, the silence is loud. But these are the sacred places where God begins to trust you with what can't be seen, where character is forged in quiet and calling is refined in fire. And when the season shifts, as it always does, you'll come out not the same, but stronger, wiser, and carrying something that could only have been conceived in isolation. Don't curse the season. Don't run from it. Let it do its holy work. Because when God brings you out, he'll bring you into something greater than you could have carried before. There will be moments when your decisions confuse others, when your dreams seem too big, too bold, or too different, when the steps you take in obedience look like missteps to those who haven't heard what you've heard. And that's okay. Not everyone will understand you because not everyone was meant to carry the vision you carry. You weren't called to be understood. You were called to be obedient. There is a sacred loneliness that comes with being chosen, a quiet ache that surfaces when your path doesn't align with the expectations of others. But if you're always trying to be understood, you may end up compromising the very thing you were meant to protect. Some people will see your silence as weakness, your waiting as indecision, your separation as arrogance. But what they cannot see is the unseen hand shaping you, the whispered instructions guiding you, the fire inside that keeps you walking when no one else gets it. You're not being difficult. You're being obedient to a direction that isn't always visible to the outside world. And that obedience will require letting go of the need to explain yourself, to justify your process, to prove your worth. Because the truth is, those who are meant to walk with you will recognize your heart, even if they don't fully understand your steps. Clarity doesn't always come in company. Sometimes it's forged in the quiet resolve to keep going, even when you're questioned, even when you're doubted, even when the ones closest to you can't see what you see. And still, you go, not in bitterness, not in pride, but in peace, knowing that what God has placed in you doesn't need to be validated by anyone else to be real. So let them misunderstand you. Let them misread your silence, your steps, your seasons. Because in the end, understanding isn't the goal. Faithfulness is. And God never forgets the ones who kept walking when no one else could see why. You don't find your tribe by chasing people. You find them by becoming who you truly are. The energy you carry, the truth you live, the values you embody, they all send a signal far louder than words. You attract what you are, not what you pretend to be. When you walk in your authenticity, you begin to draw others who are aligned with your spirit, your purpose, your rhythm. But if you're wearing a mask, you'll only ever connect with other masks. If you're performing, you'll surround yourself with people who applaud the act, not the person behind it. That's why the journey back to your true self is not just personal, it's magnetic. Because when you stand in your truth, unapologetic and unwavering, it becomes a beacon to those who've been waiting to find someone like you. It may take time. There may be a stretch of loneliness in between the old version of you and the people meant for the real you. But don't rush it. Don't settle. The ones who are for you, truly for you, will be drawn not to your image, but to your essence. And you'll know them when they come because the connection will feel like recognition, not striving. The more whole you become, the more whole your relationships will be. The more honest you are, the more honesty you'll attract. The more free you live, the more you'll find others who are tired of chains. This is how your tribe finds you, not through effort, but through alignment. So keep becoming, keep healing, keep walking in the fullness of who you are. Because every time you step deeper into your identity, you make it easier for your people to see you, to find you, and to walk with you. There is a timing to your life that is higher than schedules, expectations, or opinions. A timing that doesn't bow to pressure or hurry to meet human approval. When you walk with God, you learn that being early is just as wrong as being late. Divine timing is perfect, not convenient, not predictable, but perfect. And it rarely aligns with the timelines others try to impose on you. People may question why it's taking so long. They may wonder why you haven't launched yet, moved yet, spoken yet, stepped out yet. But what they can't see is what God is building beneath the surface. Delay is not denial. It's preparation. Every quiet day, every hidden moment, every not yet is working for your good in ways you can't fully grasp. Human approval will tempt you to rush to perform before you're ready to announce what God told you to hold. But favor with people means nothing if it comes at the cost of missing divine timing. Approval fades, applause dies down. But when you move in God's time, you move with authority, with peace, with power. There is safety in waiting for his yes. There is strength in resisting the urge to prove yourself. You don't need to rush to be seen or strive to be accepted. What's meant for you won't miss you, not when your life is aligned with the one who sees the end from the beginning. So be okay with being hidden. Be okay with moving slower than the crowd. Be okay with the quiet, the stillness, the waiting. Because when God says now, no man's resistance can stop it. And when he says wait, no man's praise can hurry it. Trust that the same God who gave you the vision will also appoint the moment. There is a holy mystery in being hidden, a season where nothing seems to be moving, where no one seems to notice, and where everything you carry feels unseen. But hiddenness is not abandonment, it's protection. It's the space where God does his most intimate work. Before there's an unveiling, there's always a season where the roots grow deep in silence. You don't plant a seed and demand fruit the next day. You bury it in the soil, unseen and uncelebrated. And you trust the process. That's what hidden seasons are. They're sacred. They're the places where character is formed, where identity is refined, and where your spirit learns to breathe without performance. You may feel overlooked, but you're not. You may feel invisible, but you're being watched by the one who matters most. What others can't see, God is nurturing. What they dismiss, he is developing. He's not in a hurry to show you off. He's committed to building something in you that can endure once the spotlight comes. Because the unveiling isn't just about being seen, it's about being ready. Without the hiddenness, the weight of being revealed could crush you. But with it, you're grounded. You're anchored. You're real. So don't despise the obscurity. Don't rush the emergence. Let the quiet do its work. Let the silence deepen your roots. Because when the unveiling comes, and it will, you won't be standing in your own strength. You'll be standing in something eternal, shaped by the hand of God himself. There's a voice within you that knows, a voice that doesn't shout, but speaks with quiet certainty, a voice that won't compete with the chaos around you, yet holds more truth than 1,000 opinions. In a world filled with noise, everyone offering advice, judgment, commentary, it becomes harder and harder to hear it. But the voice within is still there, waiting for your attention. It's the voice that says, wait when the world says go. The whisper that says, stay true when others say compromise. It's the sound of peace when the outside world is demanding performance. And if you're not careful, the volume of the noise will drown out the wisdom you were born with, the direction you were meant to follow. The voice within is not your ego, it's your discernment. It's the spirit. It's a part of you that still remembers who you are when the world tries to make you forget. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. But it requires stillness. It requires trust, because that voice won't always make sense to the people around you. It may lead you down paths that look foolish, paths that don't come with applause or validation, but those are often the paths that lead to purpose. There's freedom in choosing to listen inward instead of outward. Not every question needs a committee. Not every decision needs a consensus. You have been given wisdom, intuition, and access to divine guidance. When you honor that, you become steady, anchored, not easily swayed by trends, pressure, or fear. So turn down the volume of the world. Step back from the constant opinions, the comparisons, the pressure to conform, and lean into that still, quiet knowing, because the voice within was never meant to echo the world. It was meant to lead you beyond it. There's a voice within you that knows, a voice that doesn't shout, but speaks with quiet certainty. A voice that won't compete with the chaos around you, yet holds more truth than 1,000 opinions in a world filled with noise. Everyone offering advice, judgment, commentary. It becomes harder and harder to hear it. But the voice within is still there, waiting for your attention. It's the voice that says wait when the world says go. The whisper that says stay true when others say compromise. It's the sound of peace when the outside world is demanding performance. And if you're not careful, the volume of the noise will drown out the wisdom you were born with, the direction you were meant to follow. The voice within is not your ego, it's your discernment. It's the spirit. It's the part of you that still remembers who you are when the world tries to make you forget. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. But it requires stillness. It requires trust. Because that voice won't always make sense to the people around you. It may lead you down paths that look foolish, paths that don't come with applause or validation, but those are often the paths that lead to purpose. There's freedom in choosing to listen inward instead of outward. Not every question needs a committee. Not every decision needs a consensus. You have been given wisdom, intuition, and access to divine guidance. When you honor that, you become steady, anchored, not easily swayed by trends, pressure, or fear. So turn down the volume of the world, step back from the constant opinions, the comparisons, the pressure to conform, and lean into that still, quiet knowing. Because the voice within was never meant to echo the world. It was meant to lead you beyond it. Finding your tribe is not about networking, fitting in, or curating the perfect image to attract people. It's not something you manufacture through charm, status, or visibility. It's something that happens on a deeper soul level, something sacred. It's a spiritual encounter, not a social event. Because your tribe isn't made up of those who simply like you. It's made up of those who see you. These are the ones who recognize your spirit before they know your story. They connect with your essence, not your image. They're drawn to your honesty, your scars, your truth, not just your strengths. When you find them, there's no striving, no pretending, no proving, just a quiet sense of recognition, like your souls already knew each other before your names were ever exchanged. This kind of connection can't be forced. You can be in a room full of people and still feel invisible because surface level connection doesn't satisfy a spirit wired for purpose. But when your tribe shows up, it's different. You'll feel seen without having to explain, understood without having to be impressive, safe without having to perform. But to find that kind of connection, you have to walk alone first. You have to shed the false alliances, the shallow circles, the places you had to shrink yourself to stay. You have to become who you really are, fully, boldly, even if it costs you temporary company, because your true tribe can only find the real you, not the version you created to survive. So don't mistake crowds for connection. Don't confuse attention for alignment, and don't rush the process. When it's time, the right people will come, not because you sought them out, but because your spirit became loud enough for theirs to hear. It's not an event on your calendar. It's a divine appointment, a holy meeting between souls that were always meant to walk together. So, walk alone if you must. Walk through the silence, the misunderstanding, the seasons of obscurity. Walk through the stretching, the solitude, the refining. Not because you're lost, but because you're being led. Because the journey to finding your tribe, your voice, your place, it begins with becoming. You were never meant to blend in. You were never created to shrink or settle just to be accepted. What is within you is sacred, and it demands alignment, not approval. Trust the process. Trust the pruning. Trust the pauses. Because what's waiting on the other side of your obedience is more than friendship. It's divine connection. It's purpose met with partnership. It's calling met with community. And when you finally find your tribe, when they recognize you not by what you do, but by who you are, you realize that every lonely step was holy. Every quiet night was worth it because you didn't just find people, you found home. You found those who don't just walk with you, but walk for you. So hold your ground, guard your authenticity, and above all, don't rush the arrival. For the ones you're meant to walk with, they don't need you to be louder or faster or more perfect. They just need you to be real. Keep becoming, because they are not far behind.